Hello viewers, this is Sridhar from CELPIP Academy with yet another video on IELTS essay writing. As I told you earlier that I'll also be uploading some videos on IELTS and PT going forward. So which I'll be doing that. Apart from being a CELTA certified trainer, I also am a British Council certified trainer. I'm a Paragon certified CELPIP trainer and Pearson certified PT trainer as well. So as of British Council, I'm an IELTS certified trainer. So I'm going to show you how to do the essay writing. In fact, you'll be asked to write 250 words, but we are going to write up to maybe 275 to 300 words. That would be our attempt in today's video. Okay, so how to rephrase and start an essay on the IELTS. So I can change the even though into although. So globalization is the integration of the nations. Here it says economy, so I can change it to economies or economically. Anything is possible. A verb can change into an adverb as well. So in a positive way can change into a constructive way. Negative can become maybe detrimental or something else. Negative is harmful, so detrimental can be used. So let me start. So the globalization is because of technological advancements. So the arrival is advent of technology has impacted and integrated the nations. So the country will become world will change into nations or countries. You can also say countries. Anything is okay. Now I've given my first rephrase, that is paraphrasing of the sentence. The advent of technology has impacted and integrated the countries in constructive ways. So it is kind of disturbing my constructive, so I can change it to nations in constructive ways. However, so in essay, discuss both view and give your opinion. Either it should be thinking from the perspective of others, that is however many people believe, or something like that. Okay, or somebody is claiming that it has also a negative aspect to it, that is globalization. However, the detrimental aspects of may have a cascading effect in the future. So general statement, you have to rephrase the general statement. Don't give your opinion in the first two sentences. In case if the question, the topic itself is only one sentence, then you'll have to go creative. But we'll come to that later, because in my other videos, I'm going to tell you how to write one topic sentence essay, how to creatively write, and then add on your opinion in that. Okay, the advent of technology has impacted and integrated the nations in constructive ways. However, the detrimental aspect of globalization may have a cascading effect in the future. So its negative side should not be forgotten is what they are saying. So for that, I've used, however, the detrimental aspects of globalization may have a cascading. Cascading means downward trend or something like that. So now I can give my thesis statement, which is my opinion. In my opinion, globalization will revolutionize the way people do business from across the globe. So this is how you have to general rephrasing of topic you have to do. Why? Because you don't have to add on points here, because the body para 1 is where you have to start saying what you want to say, for instance, for example, and adding furthermore, moreover to your. So let's start on the one hand. On the one hand, globalization, or you can say it is a boon. It is a boon to the individuals and society overall. Now we have to say why. On the one hand, always remember this. On the IELTS, you have to complete the sentence. You should not leave it up to why it is boon. So you have to say that. On the one hand, it is a boon to the individuals and society overall, because skilled workers Okay, one aspect of globalization is skilled workers getting recognized due to foreign direct investments and its upsurge. So on the one hand, it is a boon to the individuals and society overall, because skilled workers, or you can say skilled professionals, get recognized and placed in their core industry jobs as foreign direct investments upsurge. We can give one example. For example, developing nations like, I'm not saying India is my country, because I have to say it in a passive or descriptive manner in the way I say it. For example, developing nations like India has seen a major increase in investments from abroad. In turn, bringing in turn opening wide job markets. So what am I saying here? Now, for example, developing nations like India has seen a major increase in investments from abroad, in turn opening wide job markets. So this is how relevantly you have to start writing. Furthermore, multinational brands were less prevalent a few decades ago. Take anything for that matters, Levi's, take KFC, take your, Dunkin' Donuts, take Mercedes. Mercedes was there from the 90s, late 90s itself. But then BMW, Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar. So all these multinational brands were less prevalent a few decades ago, but it has many stores everywhere these days. Yeah. So the other thing about globalization is that multinational brands were less prevalent a few decades ago, but it has many stores everywhere these days. Now, then what? We can talk about one general statement without using the connector because we have used most of it and we have also given one example. Now, on the negative part, we'll have to give another example we'll use, for instance, for that. All right. Okay, let's finish this statement here. On the one hand, I've completed. Let's also do the proofreading later. Okay, additionally, or make it a one generic statements. So what has happened because of the globalization is cutting edge technology has been introduced. The cutting edge technology can be seen everywhere, and robots and laser guided vehicles are so the cutting edge technology, like what can you say, the robots, that is laser guided vehicles, are called as robots, or we can just keep it as one. So both are same only. Let's keep it as one. I was just thinking of increasing my word count, so I wrote laser guided vehicles as well. The cutting edge technology can be seen everywhere, and robots are at work diligently 24 hours. Diligently working 24 hours. Diligently or work diligently 24 hours. 24 hours. Okay. On the other hand, or on the flip side, so due to globalization, there are n number of commercial banks these days. You are aware of it, right? So due to which a lot of plastic cards or online payment, so many things have come, and then there are chances of losing your money sometimes. But yes, banks have done a very good job of returning the money well within time, or sometimes within a few days and things like that. It's happening. But in the past, believe me or not, money used to go in suspense and never used to come back to people. You have to keep on giving complaints to the banks, and all these things happen. So let's talk about that. On the flip side, data theft is on the rise, and hackers are posing a threat to online users. This is due to globalization, in fact. What has happened is the public banks were used to write and give the check. Now what has happened, you use the card. If the card, these days, of course, chip and pin card, there were times when the ATMs used to retain the cards. There were times when the money used to get transacted, but the money used to get debited from the ATM machines, but then the people used to complain saying that I went to this ATM and my money got debited, but it does not come to my hands. So all these things used to happen. Yeah, debited in the sense the money probably was debited from his account, but he didn't get it dispensed from the ATM machine. Something like that. On the flip side, data theft is on the rise, and hackers are posing a threat to online users. Now I'm saying data theft is getting, now for instance, you get phishing mail, you get so many things like, they say immediately update your account number with your CVV and expiry date. your money is gone, because the mail which you received would have been a fake mail, that would have been a phishing mail. So many things. Okay, so you shouldn't be revealing your, somebody calls up and says you shouldn't be revealing your personal credit card details or debit card details. And people, believe me, have lost a lot of money like this. Okay, there are websites where you try to purchase something, but then you're not getting the item as well as the money is gone. So there are so many things. Data theft is on the rise, and hackers are posing a threat to online users. Right. For instance, what has happened recently, I'm going to quote that. So how the hackers are posing a threat. So you believe me or not, every time it happens, and then people suddenly say that your account has been credited with 3,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, whereas I would have asked for some 1 lakh or 2 lakhs. All these things are happening, fraudulent activity. I do know which country is doing that, but I do not want to reveal because it will be bad on the YouTube. Anyway, so for instance, some countries are using their hackers to siphon money from money at the payment gateway stage. Okay, for instance, some countries are using their hackers to siphon money at the payment gateway of different countries, different nations. We can change it at the payment gateway stage. So they are doing it as we speak. I know about it. So that's why I'm telling you. I have an authentic information, but then I have to not use the country's name because it will be demeaning them. And then I'm going to use some country. Okay, some countries are using, or you can just say some country are using their hackers to siphon money of different nations at the payment gateway stage. So in the first positive paragraph I've written, for example, developing nations like India has seen a major increase in investments from abroad, in turn opening up wide job markets. Furthermore, multinational brands. Okay, so I can talk about the multinational brands. Now, local brands are getting diminished due to foreign brands and their monopoly in the markets. Then what? You can talk about influx of foreign tourists, due to which you remember the pandemic, which devastated the countries, and people went jobless. In fact, a lot of companies closed down, unemployment rate increased. So there's a lot of talk going on how countries have been affected. About 29 lakh people died in India alone. A lot of things. So can pandemic be a reason due to influx of foreign tourists? Of course, the people who went from India as a brain drain and came back were the ones who spread the pandemic initially. But then I wouldn't say that the influx of foreign tourists created this pandemic situation. There is a possibility, you do not know, because nobody has a proper data whether it came from the country, what I mentioned earlier. So there's a possibility that it came from there. Why? Because there is a lot of proof from their own country citizen on the YouTube, of course. So I've already used furthermore, so I can change it to more over here. Let's do the proofreading later. Okay, now additionally, So any other thing comes to your mind, you can also write that, not necessarily that you have to follow, but the template will remain the same, because the way I'm writing has been time tested and it has been approved. My candidates are getting 8 band and above on the writing as well. IELTS writing, in fact, even though the CELPIP writing, you need to write 150 to 200 words, here you need to write at least 275 to 300 words in case if you've not paraphrased and given your opinion upfront. That is how it works, because otherwise, if you've not paraphrased the topic essay, then you'll not be getting enough score, enough band for the 250 words what you've written. So I always tell my candidates to write 275 words to 300 words. There is no upper word limit, so you can write up to 230, 40 or 50 words. Do not exceed, because nobody likes reading, assessing your IELTS essay. So additionally, what are all the negative things about globalization? So I can think of, other than local brands are getting diminished due to the foreign brands and their monopoly in the market. Or you can say monopoly in the developing countries market. So what has happened now? The companies are getting outsourced from developed nations to developing nations. So you can talk about that. Additionally, organizations are getting outsourced to developing nations because of which millions of people lose their jobs in developed nations. Okay, additionally, organizations are getting outsourced to developing nations because of which millions of people lose their jobs in developed nations. It is true. Okay, finally, the countries who allow foreign direct investments to and companies to export from their soil get benefited in terms of growth in gross domestic product as well. It's a generic term. So GDP growth, what we call, right? So finally, countries who allow foreign direct investments and companies to export from their soil get benefited in terms of growth in gross domestic product as well. All right, in conclusion, finally is not in conclusion, finally is not to conclude, finally is not to sum up with. So you have to be careful. Only use these three things for IELTS: to conclude, in conclusion, to sum up. Don't write anything else. So I can also say to sum up here, but in conclusion is what I use normally. I believe that globalization will help many countries to achieve economic so the thing is like here one more thing, the advent of technology has impacted and integrated the nations economically in constructive ways. Economically in constructive ways. Anyway, I'll do the proofreading again. So here, once again, in conclusion, I believe that globalization will help many countries to achieve economic goals, leading to upliftment of that country in many ways. Okay, in conclusion, I believe that globalization will help many countries to achieve economic goals, leading to upliftment of that country in many ways. Therefore, any anomalies that globalization poses. Anomalies means once again negative. Okay. Therefore, any anomalies that globalization poses should be taken into cognizance without much devastation in the future. You always talk about the future, right? So therefore, any anomalies that globalization poses should be taken into cognizance, awareness, without much devastation in the future. So we can prevent any kind of thing like, for instance, the movie Terminator, in which they show that the robots take over. Anything can happen, artificial intelligence. So we have to be really careful. The governments, the individuals who create technological, innovative products or maybe the advancement should be aware of what he or she is making. Otherwise, anytime soon, the artificial intelligence may also go wrong. Even, stalwarts or people who are who know better than me have in fact discussed about this earlier on. So let's proofread our essay. Let's do not deviate from the subject. Even though globalization affects the world economy in a very positive way, its negative side should not be forgotten. Discuss both view and give your opinion. Both views and give your opinion. Okay, the advent of technology has impacted and integrated the nations economically in constructive ways. However, the detrimental aspect of globalization may have a cascading effect in the future. In my opinion, as I said, this is talked by many. So we can, however, the detrimental aspects of globalization claimed by many, people are claiming it, claimed by many, may have a cascading effect in the future. In my opinion, the globalization will revolutionize the way people do business from across the globe, which is what is going to happen. Okay, already India sent 104 satellites through one rocket, and the following years we did so many things, Chandrayaan-3, and then now the Aditya L1. So many things are going on. So India has the capability. So I'm talking about so many things here. I could have added those points, but then today I thought I'll write it in a different way. All right. On the one hand, it is a boon to the individuals and society overall, because skilled professionals get recognized and placed in their core industry jobs as foreign direct investments upsurge when it starts to increase. For example, developing nations like India has seen a major increase in investments from abroad. In turn, opening wide job markets. Furthermore, multinational brands were less prevalent a few decades ago, but it has many stores everywhere these days. That's true. The cutting edge technology can be seen everywhere, and robots are at work diligently 24 hours. On the flip side, data theft is on the rise and hackers are posing a threat to online users. For instance, some countries are using their hackers to siphon money of different nations at the payment gateway stage. Moreover, local brands are getting diminished due to foreign brands and their monopoly in the developing countries, in the markets of developing countries. Okay, we have changed it. Additionally, organizations are getting outsourced to developing nations, because of which millions of people lose their jobs in developed countries. Instead of people, we can say locals. That is appropriate. Finally, the countries who allow foreign direct investments and companies to export from their soil get benefited in terms of growth in gross domestic product as well. In conclusion, I believe that globalization will help many countries to achieve economic goals, leading to upliftment of the country in many ways. Therefore, any anomalies that globalization possesses should be taken into cognizance without much devastation in the future. So this is how you need to write an IELTS essay. If you want more essays, I'll be uploading all the other 4 essays that I discussed earlier: agreement, disagreement, advantage, disadvantage, 2-part essay, and problem solution essay. 2-part essay, of course, is rare. It is mostly given to the students, and then for general IELTS general takers, normally do not get it. I guess in the recent past, I haven't seen anybody getting it, but then I'll be writing all those essays. So please do subscribe to my channel, like I always say, because it is important for you to learn such essays. Otherwise, it is become impossible for the people to crack IELTS in the first attempt with even 7 or 8 or 9 band. Please do like my channel. Also comment below. Thanks for watching.